Hello, this is Steve Kimes, a Hayao Miyazaki completist, and I'm here to talk about the First Anabaptist. It was interesting to listen to Robert and his daughter talk about Anabaptism and all of that, and it got me thinking, oh, I want to talk about who the first Anabaptist was, just for something to talk about. A lot of people think that the first Anabaptist is Conrad Grebel, who he and his buddies got baptized each other in 1525. But I would like to say that the first Anabaptist actually goes way back further. I think that John the Baptist was actually the first Anabaptist. Why would you say that? Okay, for that we have to understand why it is that John baptized. So the idea of baptism. Baptism is a Greek word. It basically means to soak or to drench. So it was actually John the Super Soaker, and he baptized because he wanted people to repent. But repent from what? From people's sins? I don't think that's exactly what's going on there. To understand baptism, we have to see why John was baptizing at the Jordan River. He was at the Jordan River because he was reenacting Joshua's crossing of the Jordan River many ages ago, where he took the entire nation across the Jordan River, across that sea, and then they started a new nation. That, of course, was a reenactment of Moses and the Red Sea crossing, where they went up to the Red Sea, this huge body of chaos and horror and death, and God opened it up and they walked across the Red Sea, and then it closed up and they never went back to Pharaoh, never went back to that kingdom again. But it's interesting that in First Peter it says that even that wasn't the first baptism, that an earlier baptism happened with Noah and the flood, where they're crossing this huge body of water of death and chaos, where all of humanity dies, and they come across at the end within a new world and a new nation. So crossing this body of water is like crossing death and chaos, and then you head into a new world. So it's really a symbol of immigration, which is what John the Baptist was telling people, that the nation that they are a part of is so corrupt that they needed to cross the Jordan River again into a new nation and be a part of a new nation. So what they needed to repent of was the government and the nation that they were a part of. So John wasn't just rebaptizing individuals, he was rebaptizing the whole nation. And in doing that, he was actually rejecting the legitimate government and having people be a part of a new government, of a new nation of God. And so what would happen to John? Well, of course, he got imprisoned, and then he ended up becoming martyred, which is a lot like the first Anabaptists, the Anabaptists of the 1500s. Anabaptists of the 1500s rejected the, quote, legitimate governments at the time. They rebaptized people, which meant that they had to be a part of a new nation, and then they were imprisoned and martyred because they were rejecting not just the doctrine, but the actual legitimacy of government that was running at the time. Wonder, that's a pretty good idea. That's not a bad idea. Maybe we ought to do that. Anyway, that's my argument of why John the Baptist is the first Anabaptist. We'll talk to you later, MEnnoNerds.